Yesterday, just we given the demo class on cloud computing. Already explained, without a virtualization, there is no cloud. So I will give you a brief difference between cloud infrastructure and virtualization infrastructure. Then you can easily understand. Now, cloud computing versus virtualization. So differences between cloud computing and virtualization. So already I told you yesterday, without a virtualization, no cloud. But what is the difference between cloud computing and virtualization? So cloud computing is a model for enabling convenient on-demand network access to share a pool of configuration computing resources. So yesterday only we discussed a collection of resources like networks, servers, storage, applications, and other services that can be rapidly provisioned and released with minimal management effort or service provide interaction. So depending upon your service provider. So yesterday already we seen within minutes we got Linux server. So they are going to provide whatever the services you want to require. So like this is the cloud architecture and its layout. So here, this is my cloud environment. From your organizations or through your mobiles or whatever it may be, whatever the resources they are providing, so you can access from anywhere through the cloud resources, storage resources, compute resources like infrastructure, like applications, everything you can access by the cloud environment through internet. Now virtualization. So virtualization is a software which creates separated multiple images of the hardware and the software and on the same machine. So already I showed you. So this is my physical laptop. Top of that I installed VMware workstation. So same physical machine. So I created a multiple machines here. So that is nothing but virtualization. So this makes possible to install multiple operating systems, multiple softwares, and multiple applications on the same physical machine. So using the virtualization software can reduce the cost of hardware and increase the utilization. Already told you. So right click task manager, my CPU utilization, memory utilization, wasting the resources. So that is the reason virtualization is introduced. So I can utilize my complete whatever the resources I am having, CPU resources and memory resources, I can utilize from my physical machine. So you can use the utilization capacity and accessibility and efficiency of the infrastructure. So virtualization works on the top of the hardware of the physical server. Remember, yesterday I told you. So top of the physical server, how you are installing Linux, how you are installing Windows, like that the virtualization we are going to install, that is called VMware vSphere Hypervisor and Hyper-V and Citrix Zen server. So, and divides its hardware into multiple segments is called virtual. So where the virtual machines are then installed. So this is like already told, physical server, top of the virtualization software like VMware vSphere Hypervisor. Top of that we are installing servers. So top of this cloud is implemented. From cloud we are accessing these resources. So benefits of cloud computing, it is accessible to all the users with proper credentials without any restriction. Using cloud for application is cost efficient. Least possibility of access failure due to non-dependency on a single machine, because your resources on multiple machines you can use. Cloud provides you independence from machine access. So URLs will give you access to your infrastructure all the time, anytime through internet you can access your infrastructure. That is the benefits of cloud computing. So benefits of virtualization. So server virtualization is the top reason behind its success. IT industry is setting up thousands of servers machines using virtualization technique. Multiple applications can be installed on the same physical machine despite of OS dependency. So the setup cost is very low. Virtualization can be done on a personal computer also. Just now I told you. In your personal computer also, you by using VMware Workstation, you can done virtualization technology. So cloud computing and virtualization both essential for today's requirement. Cloud is a good for public use. Another side, IT companies use virtualization for cost efficient data center setup. Cloud infrastructure cannot be established without the help of virtualization. It is the foundation of cloud networks. So cloud infrastructure cannot be established without helping of virtualization. The foundation of cloud networks is nothing but a virtualization. So Google Docs is the best example of cloud computing. So this points see how to remember and understand when we are going to learn cloud computing. So yesterday already we discussed about yesterday demo class. What is cloud computing? What are the resources we are going to use cloud computing? And what are the service models? What are the deployment models? Now, what is the difference between cloud computing and virtualization? So already yesterday only I explained you, without a virtualization, there is no cloud. That is the reason today I given the differences between this virtualization and cloud computing. Remember these points. Next.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, tell me, madam.
Yeah, sir, this is Ashwini. Sir, this virtual, like whatever VM machines we are setting, is it dependent upon our physical computer's memory as well or speed as well? Because,
exactly.
Okay. Why, sir? It is virtually, right? It is virtually means you are setting it virtually. So why it is dependent upon your physical computer speed or memory?
See, for example, yesterday only, today only came, yesterday also you attended. See, I bought a physical machine by spending the money 30,000 rupees, 35,000 rupees. What actual resources my physical computer is utilizing? CPU percentage only 7% or 6% as of now. Memory resources only 26%. So 26%. So I invested 30,000 rupees, but I am utilizing less than 30% resources. Remaining resources, what is happening? What about remaining resources?
Wastage.
Wastage. So wasting the resources is nothing but wasting the money. That is the reason what I done. So I need another computer now. For example, I need another laptop to practice networking. For example, I'm telling, I have a single laptop, I bought a laptop, but I am learning a networking course. I need 2 servers. So if there is no virtualization, what I have to do? I have to buy another server. So here already 70% resources are wasting in my one computer. Again, I have to spend 30,000 rupees. I have to buy another laptop. So there also maybe 70% resources only utilizing. So wasting the money. So wasting the resources, but wasting the resources is nothing but wasting the money. That is the reason they introduced virtualization. So no need to buy laptops. Why unnecessary for using different laptops? In your single laptop only, you can create number of machines. So I am not spending a single rupee. Understand? I am not paid a single rupee here.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
Yes, sir. That was my doubt. Like we can spend, we can create number of machines. Like that was actually wanted to know. Even if I'm having a 4 a GB RAM or what. So I can create like so and so machines.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Good. Now, the contents which we are going to discuss in AWS, I will explain now. Here, what you are going to learn, simply I will explain. Here you are going to learn about servers. Here you are going to learn about storage. Here you are going to learn about load balancing. Here you are going to learn about auto scaling. Here we are going to learn about the databases. Here you are going to learn about load balancers. See, all the technologies, whatever the technologies are there, all the technologies we are going to learn in this course. Now you can have the understanding about servers. You can understand about storage. You can understand about databases. You can understand about load balancers. You can understand about auto scaling. So everything, say bunch of services you are going to learn here. So that is nothing but AWS Solutions Architect Associate course. So training prerequisite is already yesterday demo class I told you again, absolute beginners. No prior AWS experience is necessary because everything you are going to learn here only. Previous system administration or development knowledge would be added advantage to get the good package for you. And also if you have the gap between your degree and now,
Sir.
you have to fill up the, yeah, tell me, mister.
Yeah, actually, I'm working in currently in production support. There's an advantage for that.
100%.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
So previous administration and development knowledge would be added advantage. System
Hello, sir.
administrator, yeah, tell me.
Sorry for the interruption. Could you show any migration or any one session for the migration?
One session I will show you last. Once you understand about the complete infrastructure, then you can understand about the migrating.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So system administrator interested in deploying applications on AWS, they can go for this. So who want to learn, enthusiasts to learn the cloud computing, they are also going to be learning. And whatever the my system requirements, for example, what I required in my system, no need to install any other softwares. Then third-party softwares, no need to install. Just need to create one AWS account like Gmail account. So most of these services come with AWS free tier eligibility only. If you are working with Windows operating system, to launch Linux servers, you need to install Putty software. That is the only third-party software you are going to download. That is a 1 minute software. 1 minute you can download it. In practical session, we are going to see that one. Downloading Putty keygen, how to generate the private keys. So directly, if you are working with Linux or Mac OS, default terminal is enough to launch your instances. These are the system requirements. So if your RAM is 1 GB or 2 GB or 3 GB, that is not taken into the consideration of speed of your practical scenarios, because everything you are accessing from the internet. So all servers on remote location. So nothing about, no need to worry about your physical resource capacity. Just a minimum system is enough. Next, coming to the training contents. Amazon EC2, Elastic Compute Cloud. So introduction to Amazon EC2, benefits of EC2, use EC2, features EC2 instance types. Just now I explained you, instance is nothing but a virtual server. You can call instance is nothing but a VM. So technical word, cloud people, they are telling, so they are given the name instance, nothing but, for example, I can call this is a instance, but in virtualization technology terminology, I am calling as a VM. But in cloud environment, we are calling as a instance. So only the technical name is changed, but the work is same. The machine, just one machine I am calling as a virtual machine here. In cloud environment, I am calling as a instance. Types of instances. Types of instances means we have different types of laptops are there. Lenovo laptop, HP laptop, like Samsung, whatever it may be, different companies, Dell laptop. So all are using for installing Windows for working purpose. But why some people will take Lenovo, some people will take Dell. So depending upon the speed and capacity, what they required, they will select that particular configuration laptops. Like that, in cloud also, while you are going to launch the servers, means instances, so you can select the type of instance. Which type, depending upon your requirement. Is it for database purpose? Is it for big data Hadoop purpose? Or is it for graphics purpose? Depending upon requirement of the server. So that type of instances you are going to select, that we are going to discuss in our first class Amazon EC2. Next to Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Store. This is called storage. So introduction to Amazon EBS, size and capacity, EBS benefits, use cases, volume types, snapshots and features. For example, when you bought a laptop, you have a 500 GB disk is there, the default disk. That 500 GB space is full. There is no free space in your laptop disk. When you bought internal disk, then what you have to do, you need to store more space. You need to get more space. You have to buy external hard disk, 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte. So when you want to require, you through USB drive, you can connect it to your laptop. Whatever the data is stored, you can store in your external hard disk. Like that, while you are working on real-time scenarios, when your Windows server or Linux server is going on, means running state, so if you need a more space, so your database is going to be increased. Whatever the default volume which they allocated to you, that is not enough to store your data. You need more space. So through Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Storage, as a cloud administrators, depending upon the requirement of their space, maybe 500 GB or 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte, we need to create volumes, means disks. That is nothing but a volume. We are calling technical word volume. Like you can assume new hard disk, new external disk. So that disks, that volume what you created, you can attach to the running instance. They can get more space. For example, simply I will tell you. So go to your Windows system. Go to your Windows system. Go to My Computer. Click on Manage. Click on Disk Management. See here, see disk 0. Generally, we are calling this is as a root volume, means operating system disk. So here C drive is there. Whatever the remaining space I created, D drive, E drive for storing my data. So my complete disk 0 is full. Then what I can do, I can buy one external hard disk. So when I bought an external hard disk, automatically when I insert it to my laptop, here it will show disk 1, means another disk. There I can do partitions, I can store my data. Like in cloud also, as a cloud administrator, whenever you want to, when you assign a volume to the running instance, automatically it shows new disk is attached to your server from the cloud. So Windows administrators or Linux administrators, as per their requirement, they can divide the partitions. Maybe if I allocated 1 terabyte space, 500 GB, 500 GB, 2 partitions, or 250, 250, 254 partitions, depending upon their requirements, they can utilize that disk. For example, whatever 1 terabyte space I allocated to them, that is full. You can expand the volume. Remember, you can increase the volume while the servers are going on. That is how to do. We are going to discuss in this class only. Expanding your storage limit. Okay, next, elastic IP address. Elastic IP address. Elastic IP address means whenever the public IP assigned by the AWS is not permanent, every time it will be changed so that we can give permanent IP. For example, when we launch server, they will assign two IP addresses. One is public, one is private. Private means internal network communication. Public means from launching instance, we need public IP. But every time it will be changed. But I need a permanent public IP. For example, my Windows, go to your system, whatever it may be. Go to change adapter settings, Ethernet. So every Windows has this option, properties, TCP/IP 4, version 4. So I given one permanent IP, 192.168.0.120. I given. This is my static IP. Static IP, permanent IP, fixed IP. They cannot be changed. That is fixed because I want to log into my Linux servers while I am taking Linux administration classes. That is the reason fixed IP given. But in cloud computing, whatever the instance they given, every time this IP will be changed because their automatic IP addressing system they are maintaining. So I need fixed IP address. In that scenarios, as a cloud administrator, so we are going to allocate elastic IP address, but this is chargeable. Elastic IP address is chargeable. For practice purpose, so we can configure elastic IP address. We can allocate to our instance. We can check the output, whether it is working properly, whether it is communicating properly or not. Then we can remove them. But don't keep it permanent because every hour 1 cent or 1 cent maybe they will be charged. But practical scenarios, we can see the output within 1 hour. You can remove it. That is, we are going to discuss in the class elastic IP addresses. Next, AWS identity and access management. Simple scenarios, we have to give the answers in interview. What is IAM in AWS? Assigning the administrator privileges to normal users is nothing but IAM. Remember, assigning the administrator privileges to normal users. So every operating system has an administrator account, whether it is Windows, Linux, Solaris, whatever it may be, administrator account. In Windows, the administrator account name is administrator. In Unix environment, the administrator account name is root. Who is administrator? What he can do? Administrator can do any task on the servers. Like that, in cloud also, when you create a cloud account, you are the administrative person. For example, I will show you. So once, for example, you created your cloud account, you are the administrator. So log back in, log into your cloud management console. Now left side you can check. See here, see sign in as a root user. Just now I told you. Root is the administrator account. Windows administrator is the administrator account. Account owner that perform tasks requiring unrestricted access. You can do anything just because you are the account owner. As a account owner means root user, you can create some normal users. These users are called IAM users. So which privileges they can have? By default, they don't have any privileges. So you can assign. So you can access only EC2 instances. You can access only storage. You can access only load balancer. Like that, in real-time scenarios, when you join as a cloud administrator, they are not going to provide root user account anybody. Only primary administrator who has senior in the company, they can only manage this account. They will create IAM users. They can allocate to us some work on the cloud. See, whatever the course we are learning, all the services you are not going to work on real-time scenarios. So they will allocate some roles and responsibilities for you. For every day, we have to work on that particular technology only. So every configuration, every service, nobody can work. So what they allocated to you, So whatever the daily task they allocated to you, that only you can perform. So IAM user within an account that perform only daily tasks. So I will give you can manage only EC2 instances. Only the tasks only you can do. So how to manage this IAM? We are going to learn in the class. IAM, Introduction to AWS Identity and Access Management. What are the features of IAM? Multi-factor authentication. Multi-factor authentication is nothing but two-way authentications. Two-way means, for example, we are all having online bank accounts. So you can log in your ICICI Bank, or I can log in my ICICI Bank account, online banking, transferring the money or paying the bills, whatever it may be. Whatever you are doing the transaction, so while you are transferring the money or paying the bill, some OTP will come. So already you given one credentials, your username and password you given. Even also, they will ask you some other protection ID. That is called secondary factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication, even if you give your username and password credentials also, they will ask you some second factor authentication. That is called multi-factor authentication. So how to enable that multi-factor authentication, we are going to discuss in this class. So virtual multi-factor authentication services from mobile. So like how we are QR code you are scanning, like that you can download some Google Authenticator or Authenticator softwares, applications from where Google App Store. So by using your mobile, while log into your cloud, so you have to get the scanning of your QR code. They will send codes to you to log into your server. That is also I can enable. So, and temporary security credentials, managing permissions and policies, how to manage user accounts in IAM, how to create groups, how to access IAM. So this is the class we are going to discuss. AWS Identity and Access Management. OS level in Windows Server, it is called as a delegation control, assigning the administrator privileges to normal users. In Linux, we are calling as a pseudo users, assigning the administrator privileges to normal users. In cloud, we are calling as a IAM users. Next to Amazon S3 storage. See, already explained here elastic block storage, but another storage technology, Amazon S3. This is also a storage, but this is object level storage. Object level means already I given one new hard disk to you. You divided some partitions, for example. New hard disk I given, you divided partitions. So I want to store my data. For example, I'm telling you. So in our company's network, some people, they want to store their data. Then what, as administrator, what you can do? You can share your folder, D drive. So I can share it. Share this folder, D drive. Permission to whom you want to share. I want to share to everyone. For example, I am telling you. Everyone. So everyone can access my D drive. They can store, they can upload their files, they can store their data in my D drive. This is called object level storage. Already formatted state, I am giving some space to you. Just you can store your data. The same concept in cloud environment is called S3 storage. Already Amazon people, they are giving some storage to us. So just you have to upload your files, videos, photos, whatever it may be, you can keep like Google Drive. So what are the S3 benefits? What are the use cases? What are the key features? What are different storage classes in S3? S3 standard purpose general storage, infrequent access, glacier storage, like different storage classes we are going to discuss in this class. and versioning. So versioning is a important feature in S3 storage. So today I developed one code. That code I uploaded. Again, tomorrow I am continuing that code. So today what I completed, that is working properly. Everything is fine. Tomorrow same code I am continuing. Again, I uploaded that one. So whatever the code tomorrow I uploaded, that is failed. Again, I have to write the code from beginning onwards if I am not enabling versioning. If I enabled versioning, I can go for my previous good state. So whatever the code is failed from that particular point of the data what I uploaded, I can delete it. So I can continue from that particular point of my previous good state. That is versioning. So each and every point practically we are going to see in our classes. And S3 pricing. So what is the free tier eligible? What are the pricing? We are going to discuss there. How much free data you can store? How much free transferring the data between the storage classes you can store? So after that, what are the prices they are going to be charged? So we are going to discuss. And how much data size you are going to upload to S3 storage? And how much free data storage you can have? So data sizes and everything. And how to host your own website on S3 storage. So remember, whenever you are going to host your website, you need one operating system backend. If it is Linux Apache web server, we have to set up. If it is Windows Server IIS, Internet Information Service, we have to set up. Then whatever the web pages they developed, we can host that websites. Then we type www.xyz.com, that website will open. For example, I am telling you. www.flipkart.com, for example. So backend, there is a server, maybe Linux server or Windows server. They developed their website. The website is running on a server. But in cloud, what you can do, you can host your website on S3 storage without having any operating system support like Linux and Windows servers. Directly, for example, you are a web developer. You developed one website. Directly, you can upload the website files to the Amazon S3 storage. You can host your website. You can give one website name. Anybody can access that website. Next to cross-region replication. Cross-region replication means the S3 storage, which are the files I am uploading in Mumbai region. So when I configured cross-region replication, automatically they will replicate in Singapore region. Maybe if you select any region, depending upon the region, whatever the data I am uploading here, Mumbai region, automatically they are loading into Singapore region also. In any accidental, if my Mumbai region objects are deleted, so I can get back the data from Singapore region to Mumbai region. That is called cross-region replication. So manually we have to configure that one. Automatically it will not come. Manually as a as a cloud administrator, manually you have to set up cross-region replication. Next, Glacier storage class. This is also a storage. Amazon Glacier is a secure, durable, and extremely low-cost storage service for data archiving, means backup purpose. So Amazon Glacier is optimized for data that is rarely accessed and a retrieval time of several hours. Rarely accessed data you can put into the Glacier storage. Remember, rarely, for example, rarely access means I will show you. For example, in my laptop only I am telling you. Regularly I am taking classes of AWS. So every day I will open this one, this folder, and Linux administration classes. So this is commonly every day I will access these two folders. So when the Linux class I will explain, I will open Linux class. When I explain about AWS classes, I will open this. But now I am not taking classes of VMware administration. I am not taking classes of Windows Server administration. So these folders VMware, Windows servers. I am not accessing these folders. So since 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, but even they are storing on my computer only, because when I want to require, then I can open them. But now I am not using. Like that, in cloud environment, the storage which is not using, you cannot keep in the storage standard storage classes, because they will be charged. For in my laptop, I can keep it. Nobody can charge. But in cloud environment, you uploaded some data, but out of some data, some files you are not accessing from last 60 days or 90 days. So automatically we can configure on lifecycle policy, the data which is not using infrequently move to the Glacier storage. Automatically it will move like backup. So when I require that, I can take back from again Glacier to my regular storage class. So this is also important task, but directly you cannot keep the storage in Glacier. Directly you cannot upload. So we have to write a lifecycle policies. Then it will keep the data into your Glacier. Next to VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. This is the backbone of AWS. How do you secure your organization network in cloud? This is called VPC. See, your organization is coming to the cloud. My organization is also coming into the cloud. Somebody else, so many organizations, they are in the cloud. But how do you secure your own organization network? In that scenarios, we are going to create our own VPC. So own VPC means like a router. So in that, you are going to configure private network, public network servers, and different types of subnets, private subnet, public subnet, routing tables, internet gateways, NAT gateways. So understanding the default VPC means, so once you create a Amazon account, by default, every account, they will provide default VPC. That is the reason you are able to launch the instances. Otherwise, you cannot launch instances. So I will show you what are the default VPCs. Without a network communication, we cannot launch our instances. By default, everybody will get these instances. So log into your AWS account. VPC. See here VPCs. By default, everybody can get this one. Automatically, once you created account, by default will come. So default VPC available, allocated by cloud. And subnets, default subnets, they allocated to you, your account. 3 subnets, 3 different networks. And routing table, how the packets is going to be outside, how the packets will come into inside. That is decide routing table. That is also default. Internet gateway, how your system is going to be communicate to internet. So that is also they given. This is default. But here in our class, how do we set up our own VPC? How do you create your own subnet, public subnet, private subnet? How do you create your own routing tables? How do you create internet gateway? How to attach the gateway to your VPC? So everything, each and every step manually we are going to do and see the output of this virtual private cloud class. And auto scaling. Auto scaling means high availability, incremental or decremental scaling. So we have horizontal scaling and vertical scaling. We are going to discuss in our class in depth. So increasing the hardware capacity. For example, my laptop RAM is 8 GB now. Maximum it supports 16 GB. That is the maximum capacity of my server. But I installed one web application that is very popularly marketed. Now, whatever my laptop 16 GB is not enough to access that much of incoming request. So what I can do, I can't do anything because my maximum laptop capacity is 16 GB. So I need the same 16 GB laptop, same configuration laptop, another one. Then they can become load balancing between the same application. For example, we have Flipkart.com is there. Every Wednesday, they are going to give some offers. On that particular day, heavy incoming requests will come. One server is not enough to handle that much of incoming requests. They need to share another server resources also. Means you need to buy immediately another laptop. In physical environment, I am explaining. If it is in cloud, depending upon your requirement, automatically it will scale up. So how many servers are required for the capacity you are getting, that much of machines it will power on, same configuration machines. When that much of capacity is not required, automatically it will terminate. So that is called auto scaling. But this auto scaling also you have to configure. So while configuring auto scaling, minimum 2 servers required, maximum 5 servers. If the 2 servers are not enough to handle the incoming requests, automatically it will power on third machine. 3 servers also not handling that much of heavy requests are coming. Fourth machine it will start. Like depending upon the requirements, so you have to select auto scaling and balance the load between the servers. So balance. So one server cannot handle this much of request. So balance the load. So distributing the incoming application traffic across the multiple EC2 instances. So that is we are going to discuss in our classes. Auto scaling and elastic load balancers. Next, CloudWatch. So Amazon CloudWatch is a monitoring service to monitor your AWS resources. What is going on my server? I have to monitor it. Either Linux server or Windows servers, there is a monitoring department is there. What is going on? We have to monitor. Like CPU utilization monitoring. For example, I am telling you. Here, I am monitoring this one, for example. Then I can write a alarm. If my CPA utilization is less than 10%, terminate it. Why unnecessary I am paying the money for that server? So it can terminate. If my CPU utilization is greater than 75%, it means one server cannot handle the so many requests. So that is a heavy load coming onto the server. So launch a new instance and share the load between the instances. Like that. So depending upon your resources, depending upon your services, you can write a CloudWatch monitoring alarms and event notifications. It is like a monitoring tool. Next, simple notification service. What is going on in my cloud? I need some notifications. Server is down, server is terminated. So server is launched. What is the reason? So this file is uploaded. Somebody downloaded your file. So everything I can get notification. That is called serverless application. So I can configure SNS, simple notification service also we are going to see. And Route 53 is nothing but a DNS server. This is also simply explained you. We can have millions of websites are there. You cannot remember the sites with numbers. You can remember with names only. Gmail.com, Google.com, Yahoo.com, Reddit.com, Amazon.com. You can remember Flipkart.com. You can remember with names, but you cannot remember with addresses. Address is nothing but IP address. For example, you can take your mobile. What you can do, For example, in your mobile, you have 200 or 500 numbers are there. You can save all the numbers without names. For example, I'm telling you can save all the numbers without names. So can you understand which number is per which person? We cannot remember. That is the reason what we are doing. First, we are taking number of the particular person. Once we give a call to them, then we can store the name. This is from Srinivas, Hyderabad. This is from Ramu, Mumbai. Like that, depending upon this is Durga Soft Institute. Like that, what we can understand in our understandable language, we can save the numbers with names. Same like when we are working in real-time organizations, we can have the number of websites, number of applications. You have to use, you can access that applications and websites with names. You cannot remember IP addresses. In that scenarios, we need to configure DNS server. So in OS level, we are calling as DNS server, domain name system. Cloud, they are giving root 53, technical name. So Amazon root 53 is a highly available and scalable cloud domain name system. Here only I will show you in our laptop. Without a DNS, you cannot access your internet websites. Remember first point. Already in our system, we are having DNS. Means we are not configured. So our router having provide DNS IP addresses to our system. Now I want to know Flipkart IP address now. Go to NS lookup, like name resolution, like search in your mobile, like type name, then you can check the number. Somebody ask you, give number of Durga Soft, then you can type search Durga Soft, call details. This is the number, write down Durga Soft number. But because you cannot remember number, so by using the name, you can get number, that number you can share. Like that, I want to know Flipkart IP address. Go to NS lookup, www.flipkart.com. I am typing the name here. It shows the IP address. This is Flipkart number, IP address 163.53.76.86. I want to know Gmail number. Number, it means IP address. www.gmail.com. I write down the IP address 142.252.182.37. So like this, you cannot remember the numbers. That is the reason. For name resolution purpose, we are going to configure DNS. That is root 53. We are calling in cloud environment, Amazon root 53. Next to CloudFront. This is like content delivery network, which is the web pages you are watching, which is the web pages you are using, which are the web videos you are watching, and which is the bulk media you are downloading. So it will take more time because of, for example, whatever the video I'm watching, it is the origin server. Origin means where the exact video is located. Maybe it is in Australia. It is very far from India. So the request will go somewhat slow. So you are getting video, but somewhat slow. So what we can do by using CloudFront, we can keep it the nearest edge location, Singapore or Mumbai. Then the speed of downloading of the content will be improved. So improving access speed of downloading of the content, you can configure CloudFront. That is also practically we are going to see in our classes. So we can configure on website in somewhere else. So we have to put into the website in CloudFront. Elastic Beanstalk. So, so by using Elastic Beanstalk, you can quickly deploy and manage your applications in the AWS cloud without having to learn about the infrastructure that run those applications. So without knowing whatever you discussed so far, without knowing EC2, without knowing Elastic Block Storage, without knowing IAM, without knowing S3 storage, without knowing VPC, without knowing autoscaling, without knowing load balancer, directly you can deploy your application. Automatically, this infrastructure, everything created by the cloud backend. So you are a Java developer, already you developed one code, just you have to deploy it. Automatically backend what is required, what requirements are there, it will create one environment. That is Elastic Beanstalk. Next, simple queue service and simple email service. Message queue service, bulk messages you can send by using the SQS service. Email service, so you can authenticate your company accounts to cloud environment. So by using the SES, simple email service. So mail servers. Cloud formation. So cloud formation is a service that gives developers and businesses an easy way to create a collection of related AWS and third-party resources and provision them in orderly and predictable fashion. For example, already one infrastructure you developed in Mumbai region, the same you need to implement in Singapore region. Again, you cannot come from the scratch onwards. Just you have to go for cloud formation. So whatever you want to set up, whatever the already predefined setup already you configured in Mumbai region, you can make it images, just to change some names, and you can deploy in the Singapore region. So that is called cloud formation. And relational database services. Amazon RDS makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale a relational database in the cloud. It provides cost-efficient and resizable capacity while automating time-consuming administration tasks, hardware provisioning, database setups, patchings, backups, everything automatically it will take. So while configuring, we have to select all the options. Next, DynamoDB. So both are databases, but RDS is SQL Server database. DynamoDB is not SQL, no SQL database servers. Like it depends on tables. Next, Elastic file system, like the file system level storage. This is also a storage. This is file system level storage. Like in Windows, we have DFS concept is there. In Linux, NFS, same NFS concept, cloud environment, we are calling as a EFS. So I can create 1 terabyte, like already I showed you, D drive, like D drive. 1 terabyte storage I can create, I can share it. All the clients, they can access that file system storage. That is called EFS, Elastic File System. So these are the services we are going to learn in our AWS complete course. So if you have any doubts, please ask me.
Sir, you spoke about different storage like S2, S3, EBS. So like what is the major difference and how the client will prefer like which one to take?
See, every organization can use all the storages.
Okay.
Yeah, depending upon the requirement, they can go for the particular storage. For example, if you go for any company, they can have the multiple storage technologies. So depending upon the requirement on that particular scenario, they will use that storage. So Elastic Block Store means block level device I want to give you. So, means you need 2 terabyte new disk. New disk means what you have to do. As ever wish, you can do partitions. I am not doing partition. I am not formatting. I am not giving the space to store. As ever wish, depending upon your requirement, you can divide the hard disk into partitions. That is block level storage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
S3 storage means already this is your space, 50 GB space I am giving to you. You can upload your files. Means already that is managed by me. Already it is a formatted state. Just you are uploading your data. That is S3 storage. File system storage means the entire disk I can create one partition. I formatted it. I can share through network. So anybody can access that one. That is file system level storage. Like in Windows, we can have a map network drive. So they will share folder across the network. So like it shows here. So just you can make it okay. You can, not only you, whatever the permissions I given, everybody can access my storage. But whatever you are writing the data, actually the data is not writing in our computer, it's writing on server side.
Yes.
So that is centralized storage. That is Elastic file storage.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
So is there any other doubts? Please ask me.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, tell me, Mr.
Yes, cloud formation is same as Terraform. It's different. In Terraform also you
Terraform,
can program the.
yes, like that only, but some difference is there. Just coding. So we have to write a code here. This is, for example, Amazon people, they provided some templates, exam templates. See, these are all templates, cloud formation templates. So whatever the setup you want to do, just you can, for example, EC2 instance, you want to make it immediately. Just there is a predefined scripts are there. Just you can change the names, name of existing is key pair names and network names and hard instance types. You have to just change and you can deploy it. Terraform means you have to write the code. So already predefined codes I can edit and I can make it templates. Terraform, by using that you can make templates. You can create templates. Understand?
So what is the main difference between cloud formation and Terraform? Because nowadays Terraform, I think I saw in India, multiple Terraform. There is no cloud formation there. Interview there. Suppose we.
Terraform already I told you, na? So just it is to be, you have to develop some codes by using infrastructure as a code.
Okay.
You have to write infrastructure as a code. You have to write. Whatever you develop infrastructure, that is you can write a code. That code you can deploy it. Complete infrastructure will come. Understand?
What is the main difference between these two?
So main difference is depending upon the companies, they can know. So what I am downloaded, that is already predefined scripts I downloaded.
Okay.
But depending upon your organization requirement, you have to write the codes by using Terraform.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay.
This is commonly common templates you can download, I can download, everybody can download.
This AWS, we have the common means there are templates, but Terraform we should write the from scratch already.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
I have a
thank
doubt,
you. Is there any? Yeah.
sir. This is Suri
So
Babu.
tell me.
I have a doubt, sir.
Suri Babu, Chapandi.
Sir, actually, this is my first class, sir.
Okay.
See, I have come across all your basics, what you have taught today.
Okay.
Sir, actually, I would like to become AWS certified developer. So, are these basics are enough? See, to
No.
get
So what is your previous experience? Tell me. I will tell you, you are able to get the certified or not.
Actually, I was trained in mainframes, and I'm working in some organization like TCS. Right now, I would like to change my technology. That's why I chose this.
Do you
course.
have in-depth technology any one of the programming language?
I have some basics in Python technology.
I'm not asking basic, in-depth.
I don't have, sir.
Yeah, but don't go for developer certification. Go for AWS solutions. That is enough.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Don't go for developing side. But whatever you know, basic Python programming, you can utilize in this AWS solution architect. But we are not eligible to go for the developing side. Understand?
Okay, sir. Can I go towards admin, sir? AWS admin.
This is the course. You can go for this one. Then you can think about if you have the proficient skills on the Python in-depth knowledge at the time of working on real-time scenarios, then you can think about developer. Up to then, don't think about the developer tracks. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Is there any other query?
Sir, actually, my friends are they're suggesting like Arctic is very a little bit difficult comparatively other certifications like cloud practitioner, developer, and admin. So they suggested me to learn AWS developer or AWS admin. So what should I choose between these
See,
two? Shall I
whatever
choose?
the course we are learning, that is AWS administration only.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sure.
That is called Solutions Architect Associate. They given that certification name.
Okay, sir.
Understand?
I got it, sir.
So
Are you going to provide any soft copies, sir, for these classes so that?
each and every step I will send whatever I am going to show you every day practically step by step. Notes will come to you, and all the PPTs which I am going to explain in my class I will send to you. And whatever the previous class recorded videos, completed class recording videos, all videos come to you once you pay the money. And
Okay, sir.
also the running class videos is what we are discussing so far. All the classes are recording classes. So these videos, Durga Software people, every day or every 2 days, they will send to your Google Drive. Okay.
Okay, sir. What is the course duration, sir? How many
30
days?
to 35 days,
Okay, sir. 1 hour per day. Okay.
1 hour per day.
Thank you, sir.
So who want to pay the money? See, you can get the feedback mail, which number you have to pay, what is the bank account number. So pay the money, then they will send mail IDs to me who paid the money. Once the main class will start. So tomorrow maybe our main classes will be start. Meanwhile, you have to pay the money.
Sure, sir.
Maybe
Sure.
sometimes they will change the links 3 days or 4 days.
Yeah,
Paid
they
links.
provided
Sir,
some-
yeah, excuse me, sir. Sir, yesterday
Yeah,
also
tell me.
I asked the same question, but again, I want to reconfirm it. I'm completely new to this field. Like I was doing maths till now, maths as a maths
Yeah.
teacher, I was working. So completely new to this. So this is the perfect like course like I can start with, right? This is the basic fundamental course, AWS Solution Architect course, what we are doing.
100%. This is
Okay.
not a basic course. This is in-depth course only.
Okay, but then this is the first course I should start, right? I should start with
Yes,
this course.
no
only.
problem. Yeah, you can start from this and you can go for the Linux administration also. Already explained yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday also you said. Just
Yeah, you
wanted
can
to
start from
reconfirm.
here. Yeah.
Okay,
You can
sir.
start
Okay.
from.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me, Mr. Who is
Sir,
this?
if someone has developer knowledge,
Okay.
so you should go for this course or developer course.
Yeah, 100%. Who are developers? So machine learning people, deep learning people, and database people. Everybody should learn this course. There is no restrictions. It is very useful, added advantages for you and your career.
And so after this, there is some other course also, like the developer course, AWS developer.
Not required. So this is enough.
Sir, I have one more doubt, sir. Actually, in my project, there are several projects which are cloud projects. Like they're using cloud technology, like cloud Azure. There are Azure, cloud Azure projects are there. So if I learn this AWS basics, can I use these basics? Can I adapt this knowledge to that Azure, sir?
See, this is not basics. This is in-depth course. I am telling you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Don't mean that this is basics. This
Okay,
is a in-depth AWS Solutions Architect Administration course. Okay. Next point.
Okay.
Next point. For
So in
example,
my project we are using Azure.
yeah. I am giving answer for you. For example, you learn the car driving on Maruti 800. Okay. 1 year you drive in the car Maruti 800. After 1 year you bought a Benz car. Again you are going to learn the driving.
No, sir.
Why?
Because I have some experience in driving.
So already you are learning one cloud environment, AWS cloud.
Okay.
So Microsoft Azure, only company name is different, but the way of the work and complete theoretical part and work is same.
Okay, sir.
Okay, technical words will change. Like Maruti 800 and Benz car, some features are different. So how many days it will take to get the new features? Benz car automatic situation is there. Maruti 800 Normally you can close the door. Normally you can open the door. Benjicar you can put on one switch, automatically it will close, and Windows, whatever the Windows, same. Once you learn any one of the cloud, you can work on any other cloud also.
Oh,
So
okay.
you know already cloud computing on AWS. If there is Azure project, so 2 days they will give the training. This is our Azure project. So these are the scenarios we are going to do. So work is same.
Okay.
So
sir.
here you are calling as instance, there they are calling as a VM. Here we are calling as a VPC, they are calling as a VNet. So
Okay.
technical word is same, but way of the work, configurations, everything is same. Nothing will be changed.
Okay, sir.
Any other questions, please ask me. I'm going to end the session now. 5 o'clock again, I have another class. So tomorrow our main class will be start. So who are not paid money, please pay the money. They will send mails to me. So I will send all the details and complete videos. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, hello.
Hello, yeah, tell me, Mr. What you want?
Sir, I can't knowledge about the any language. Can I eligible this course?
Yes, you are a fresher.
Yes.
Yeah, you can eligible to learn this course.
Okay, sir. This is the AWS architecture or administrator.
See, AWS architect, administrator, both are same.
Okay.
Sir, can I get a projects and like outside, sir? Like with this knowledge, can I get job outside?
You can get the job. See here, whatever we are going to learn every day, the complete, once you develop that one, that is nothing but a project. So I will show you how to put the project experience on your resume. I will send that resumes to you.
Okay, sir. Okay, this means you are going to provide some real-time experience from real-time projects also.
Yeah, I will explain that projects.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Hi, sir. Please add that migration topic to this course.
Migration, I will explain you, because sometimes it is not support in our accounts. But I will theoretically, I will show you. I will send that previous videos. I will send. No problem for that. Don't think about migration. I will send it. I will show you.
Okay. My project is going to migrate. That is.
Okay. I will explain everything. Not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you. So tomorrow, first class, AWS introduction and architecture of AWS. The first AWS class tomorrow we are going to start. So please, meanwhile, you have to contact to Durgasoft how to pay the money. Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.